There we go. All right. So welcome. For those who do not know me, I am Allysia Joy. I'm a brand strategist, a business coach, and I've been doing this for over 7 years. And so I am looking forward to what's about to happen tonight. So whether you're registered in excitement, whether you did it in curiosity, or just hoping to finally feel unstuck, you've made the right decision by showing up today. And I want you to know that I don't care if um oh, wrong part. And I want you to know I don't take this moment lightly because I've read your responses. I've seen what you're carrying. You told me you're tired of feeling like everything is off, that you've been doing the work, but it's just not clicking, that something's missing, but you can't quite name it. You told me you've invested, you've created, you've launched, and yet your audience still isn't connecting. Your message still doesn't feel clear, and your brand no longer reflects who you are becoming. So, first off, let me say this: you are not alone and you're not broken. Okay. You're just in this moment of just like a brand disconnection that can be fixed, right? And so this checkup isn't about, scrapping everything and starting over. It's about pausing to get honest. It's about what's working, what's not working, and what's no longer aligned with the woman you are now. And here's what I know, right? When your brand doesn't feel like you, it's exhausting to lead it. And when your message is unclear, your audience doesn't move. But also, when your identity has shifted, your business needs to shift with it. So today, I'm giving you permission to stop pushing, to stop pretending, and to start reconnecting. Okay. So you don't need another fix, you just need a reset. And that reset it starts literally right now. Okay. So go ahead, take a breath, open up your heart, and let's begin. Okay. And okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and start with who this is for. Okay. So this is for purpose-driven women with big vision and deep conviction who are not seeing the growth, who's not seeing the clarity or the connection that they expected, despite doing the work, you've been showing up and trying to follow all the right steps. Okay. And so I don't care if your brand is polished or still in your head, or if you've been in business for 5 years, or you're finally making the decision to start again. If you've been stuck in survival mode, silently second guessing every move, even if you've tried the strategies, you've built the website, you posted the content, but it still feels like something is missing. If you know in your heart of hearts that you were called to more, that your voice, your story, and your business carry weight, but you just haven't figured out how to make it all come together in a way that feels cohesive, clear, and true, this checkup is for you. Okay, so are we good? Do we have everybody, like, the right people in the room? Yes. Okay. um and I feel like I should throw this in too, right? It isn't that you're not working hard enough. It's that you've been building with pieces that don't fully fit anymore. And when your brand no longer reflects who you are now, everything feels harder than it should be. This is the point where we need to acknowledge it's time to reconnect, to reset, and to build something that finally gets you the results you have been wanting, right? And so Over the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how myself and the women I work with were able to realign their brand, their voice, and audience without starting over or feeling like they were doing everything wrong. I'm going to also show you the clear step-by-step process purpose-driven entrepreneurs use to build a brand that finally reflects who they are now, even if they've taken a break or feel out of momentum. I'm going to show you how to uncover what's actually keeping your brand stuck, overlooked, or confusing without constantly switching your strategies, your aesthetics, or trying to be everywhere at one time. I'm going to also show you why, I just need to post more, or I need better content. It's not helping. And how you can start connecting with your audience in a way that feels real, easy, and aligned. I want to show you how to confidently attract your true audience, even if you've been serving everyone out of fear of leaving someone behind or not feeling clear enough to narrow down, right? And I'm going to also show you the bold shift our clients make to finally show up in their brand without overthinking, hiding behind perfection, or needing permission to be powerful. All right. And then I'm going to show you how to do all of this, even if you've secretly felt like you're behind, invisible, or unsure if you have what it takes anymore. So you can finally build a brand that reflects your purpose, honors your season, and sets you up to thrive, right? So, really quick, how does that sound? All right, you can give me a thumbs up. You can, put your reactions, up, or type in chat. Awesome, thank you. Okay. I lost my notes. Where did they go? There they go. Okay, so my promise to you is this. By the end of this experience, you'll have a clear understanding of why your brain isn't connecting the way you hoped, why things feel stuck or unclear, even though you've been showing up, and what it's really going to take to build with confidence, clarity, and authority. You are going to walk away with the first essential steps to reclaim your voice, refine your messaging, and reconnect with the people you're truly called to serve without starting over, burning out, or pretending to be someone that you are not. But before we go any further, let me be honest with you. This is not a quick fix, okay? It's not a feel good session where you get hyped and leave without knowing what to do next. This isn't branding on the surface. This is branding at the soul level. I've seen so many women build brands that look the part, but they are struggling to stay focused, get clients, staying consistent, or even making an impact. And many women I work with often say, I've done the courses, I've posted the content, I've tried to stay consistent, but something still feels off. And that's because when your brand no longer reflects who you are, or has not been built with proper structure, it becomes a burden instead of a vehicle for your purpose. Okay. And so I want to ask you a few questions. And so in the chat, if you connect with any of them, I just want you to put me. That's it. I just want you to put me. All right. The first question is, do you feel like you're putting out content, but it feels disconnected or like no one's really listening? Are you constantly second guessing yourself, wondering if you have been capable of building the business that you've dreamed of? Do you feel like you changed your offers, your visuals, or your pricing, hoping this time it would finally work? Are you wondering if you're even cut out for this because the results don't match your efforts? Do you find yourself, I see you, Laverne, do you find yourself stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, losing momentum, every time something doesn't go as planned. And the last one, are you staying up late at night, or have you been up late at night and asked yourself, what am I doing wrong? Why does this still feel so heavy? Am I the problem? And I know I've been there a few times. Like, I've asked them questions a few times and have been through 1 through 5 with myself. Okay. All right. And so if any of that sounds like you, here's the truth. The real reason your brand feels off is because you have not made a clear, aligned decision about who you are and how you're meant to show up in your business. Once you make that decision, everything changes, right? And so making that decision, you'll be able to see clearly what's keeping your brand stuck so you can stop guessing and begin to pivot with intention, move forward with confidence. You'll build a mindset that pushes past self-doubt and empowers you to take consistent and confident actions. You'll stop wasting your time talking to the wrong audience, and instead attract the audience that's already aligned with your calling. You'll learn how to show up without overextending yourself, so your business no longer competes with your peace or your energy and or your family. And you will reconnect with your message in a way that feels true to the woman you are now, not who you used to be when you first started. All right. And so that's exactly what we're going to unpack next. Okay. But before we do, let me introduce myself. Okay. And let me start by saying, I know exactly what it feels like to lose momentum after life, knocks you sideways. In the early stages of my business, I started by designing logos, websites, and graphics. At first, I did it for free. And I did it for free. But it just it just came naturally, right? And so, but eventually I did begin to charge, and business was flowing, but something didn't feel right. The clients I attracted were often unclear. They wanted something that looked good, like a logo, someone else's polished website, or but they didn't really know who they were as an entrepreneur, or they didn't understand their logo and their website needed substance behind it. And what hurt the most is after I poured all of my time and my energy into bringing their vision to life, many of them walked away from their business within months. And it made me feel like that I wasn't truly making an impact. And so I was building pretty brands that were going nowhere. That's when I realized a business is more than its visuals, and a brand is more than what you see. It's about who you are and what you are offering and to whom you are offering. Shifting into that truth, it wasn't easy. And I was afraid to challenge, how people view branding, because it's like a standard thing. But I thought if I, change my message, I'm literally might lose my clients. But the moment I aligned with my purpose, I started attracting women who were ready for what I had to offer. And even as life through its hardest punches, pregnancy complications, years in and out of the hospital with my youngest son, relocating, divorce, and becoming the sole provider of my family, I had to press pause. But I did not quit, because I know that I'm here to serve women like you, women who have had to hit reset after life changed everything. Visionaries, fighters, nurturers, women carrying dreams, but also doubt. They're carrying fire, but also fear. Women who want to build, but they still feel stuck they feel overwhelmed or unsure of where to even begin. And so I help women break through that mental, emotional, and strategic blocks that keep them spinning so they can show up with clarity, confidence, and impact. Because branding isn't about that surface level strategy, it's about identity, it's about voice and divine timing. Okay. This matters to me because your success isn't just about business. It's about reclaiming your power, rewriting your story, and showing up as the woman you were always meant to be. Every breakthrough I help create isn't just a win in business, it's a generational shift. So, as we talk through today's checkup, know this, okay? I'm not here to just give you information. I'm here to remind you of who you are, why you started, and what's still possible. No matter what season you're whatever season you're building from. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump in. Okay. And so, would you believe me if I told you that the reason your brand isn't gaining traction has very little to do with your logo, has very little to do with your content, or how many times you post? Bonnie, Laverne, how is that surprising to even hear?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. What I'm about to walk you through may challenge what you've been told about building a successful brand. Because the truth is, what's been keeping you stuck isn't what you think. The 4 points I'm about to share aren't surface level strategies. They're the real reason why your brand feels off. Your audience isn't connecting, and why, despite all your efforts, you still feel unseen. All right, so I need you guys to stay with me because I'm about to uncover the parts of branding that no one is talking about. And once you see them, you're not going to be able to unsee them. All right, so um, let's start with something you've probably never questioned, and that is your definition of your branding. Okay. So most of us were taught that branding means visuals, the logo, the color, the websites, and sure, those things matter. But what if I told you that that's not your brand? What if you've been spending all your energy polishing the outside of something that doesn't reflect what's true on the inside? You spent time, you spent your money, going through choosing these colors, hiring these people to do this, hiring people to do that, tweaking your fonts, perfecting the look, and those things matter. But here's what no one told you. A brand is not built on what people see. It's built on what people feel, what they experience, and what they remember. And so you've been told that a good logo makes a strong brand, that the way your business looks is what determines its value. But that's not the only part of the story. Okay. And so point one is stop accepting the logo as your brand. And I want to ask you, is it possible that you have made an emotional connection with your visual identity? Like, you've just completely connected to your images and your colors, and it's like, I don't want to let it go. I just really like it so much. Because a logo can be beautiful and still say nothing. Your graphics can be clean and still leave people confused. Your post can be consistent and still fail to connect. Because the truth is, you can have a stunning brand online and still feel invisible inside of it. And why? Because what you're showing isn't who you've become. And when your brand is no longer connected to your voice, to your values, to your story, it starts working against you and not for you. And this matters because as long as you're obsessing over how it looks, you're avoiding the deeper work of making it mean something. Laverne says, I'm always up for change if it seems it will take my good. Yes. Keep it open. A lot of people are not like that. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is the longer you delay the shift means the longer your message stays hidden. And the more your audience stays confused. So let me free you from this myth. You don't need to change your logo. You need to reconnect with your brand's truth. It's not about scrapping, the visuals that you have. It's about letting them speak louder or not letting them, sorry. It's about not letting them speak louder than your message. Your visual should support your brand, not substitute for it. You don't need a prettier brand. You need a clearer one, a braver one, a brand that reflects your evolution and not your past version. All right. And again, this is where the reset begins. And so what happens next, right? So we're looking at our brand, we're falling in love with our brand, our colors, but then you realize that the visuals aren't enough. So what do? You start trying to fix it with strategy, more content, more funnels, more engagement hacks, more offers. But if you've ever said, I'm doing all the right things and it's still not working, this is where we hit the real issue. Strategy without realignment will still leave you stuck. You don't need more strategy. You need realignment, because here's what I know. Some of you in this room, you have all the tools. You've taken the courses. You bought the planners. You've mapped out the content. You've sat through the webinars and downloaded the templates. And yet you're still not seeing the results you want. You're still feeling stuck. You're still overthinking every next move. And here's why. Strategy only works when it's aligned with who you are, aligned with where you're going and what God actually called you to do. You can be organized and still feel lost. You can be executing a perfect plan and still be out of order. Let me give you a real example, okay? I had a client who had bodies like facts. I had a client who had been in business for over 3 years. On the outside, everything looked solid. Her brand was polished. She was structured. She was always investing in challenges, courses, programs, whatever, you name it. But still, she wasn't converting the leads. She wasn't reaching the people she really wanted to work with. And no matter how many new strategies she tried, nothing stuck. So when we sat down for her brand checkup, we went deeper than the visuals and the offers. We took a step back and looked at her mindset, her messaging, and her season of life. And what we discovered was this. She had experienced a loss of a close family member, a very close family member. And ever since that moment, she had been operating out of alignment. And she wasn't doing it intentionally, and it wasn't like a conscious thing, like I'm just on purpose gonna, be doing these things. But the grief had shifted something inside of her, and her brand never caught up with the woman she had become. So once we made that connection and realigned her voice and message with her present truth, everything started to shift. Almost immediately, she began seeing more engagement, but not just any engagement. It was the engagement with the right audience. Okay, so there is a difference between engaging with the wrong audience and the right audience. We'll talk about that later, right? But the ones who were ready for what she truly had to offer. Because when you realign your voice with your truth, your brand becomes magnetic to the people who need it most. If you're building from fear, if you're building from burnout, if you're building from what worked for someone else, but not what's right for you, that strategy will drain you. Okay. It will not grow you. We have to stop building from paper and start building from the spirit. What's on the spreadsheet might be clean, but what's in your spirit might be crying out for rest, for redirection, and for a reset. And I get it. I get it. Strategy is easy to hide behind. It makes us feel like, we're being productive, when deep down we know we're out of sync. Because here's what's true. God is not obligated to bless what looks good. He blesses what's aligned. And when you're aligned, you don't have to force anything. You don't need to chase anybody. You don't need to push so hard just to feel like you're making progress. Because when your vision is aligned with your assignment, momentum flows differently. You don't need a prettier plan. You need a true one. You don't need another strategy. You need permission to realign. So now that we've talked about the alignment, right? We got that out the way. Let's dig into one of the biggest reasons that alignment still doesn't lead to growth, especially for women like us who are deeply called to help others. Because here's what I've seen over and over and over again. Okay. You're not just here to sell a product. You're not just here to you're not just here to sell a product, but you're here to transform lives. You're here to inspire, you're here to lead, and you're here to have an impact. And because of that deep calling, you've probably found yourself saying things like, oh, okay, I just want to help people, right? I'm not in it for the money. As long as I'm making an impact, I'm okay. But I need you to hear this, and I need you to hear it in love. Impact with the wrong structure will drain you. And purpose without boundaries, it's going to bury you. I mean, do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with that? Yes, yes. Okay. So this next point is going to be important. All right. And so again, I'm going to lovingly challenge you, okay? And that is, stop treating your business like a ministry. You're not just called to help people. You're called to lead them with proper structure, with boundaries, and with boldness. And the hard truth is, a lot of women aren't building businesses. They're running ministries with no plan for sustainability. They're pouring out, giving deeply, and showing up with a heart to serve, but they're afraid to charge. They're afraid to structure. They're afraid to own the value that they bring. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, right? They made helping and profiting feel like they were at odds with each other. Saying things like, I just want to help people. I'm not in this for the money. It doesn't feel right to charge for something God gave me. If I charge too much, the people who need me won't be able to afford me. Ministry doesn't ask for payment, so why should I? The thing is, you're not dishonoring your calling by charging. You're dishonoring it by not creating a structure that allows you to sustain it. Even Jesus had structure. Even ministry has order. When you feel guilty for receiving, you're going to feel underpriced, or you're going to underprice your offers. Okay. You're going to struggle to set boundaries, attract people who want access, but don't want to invest. Keep playing small, hoping impact will pay your bills. You're going to start leading from torment instead of mission. And that's not how businesses are built. Okay. The worker is worthy of his wages. Luke 10:7. God didn't call you to carry everyone. He called you to steward your assignment. That includes charging your worth, building your systems, and being a good steward of your gifts. You can serve with love and operate in wisdom. You can lead with your heart and lead with structure. You can be spirit-led and strategic. But I want to caution you that when you confuse ministry with business, you start bending spiritual truths to justify patterns that are not actually rooted, or that are actually rooted in fear, rooted in guilt, or people pleasing. And instead of creating impact, you create imbalance. All right. And this is why you stay tired. You keep questioning your worth, and you attract people who don't take your work seriously, because deep down, you haven't given yourself permission to take it seriously either. If you keep treating your business like a ministry, you'll keep giving like the boss that you are, but living like you have no right to receive. And you were never meant to pour from an empty vessel, right? And so I think I got ahead of, let's see. So, go ahead past that there. Move forward, move forward, move forward. Yep, keep going. Right, stop there. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. So, all right. So now you've done the internal work. Okay. You've reevaluated your strategy, but things still feel scattered. You're posting, you're promoting, doing the work, but it's still not leading. And if you're honest, deep down, you're trying to be available for everyone. You don't want to leave anyone out. You're afraid if you narrow your focus, you'll miss out. But trying to serve everyone isn't just overwhelming, it's ineffective, right? So the people you're assigned to can't find you because your message is spread too thin. Okay. And so point 4 is serve who you're assigned, not who's available. A lot of women entrepreneurs believe if I slim down my audience, I'll miss out on someone who needs me. Does that sound familiar? Is that anyone who has ever said that? And I know about 2 of you that I had to, okay. So you've probably said my services can help everybody. Or maybe I don't want to leave anyone out. Or what if someone who really needs me doesn't fit in my target audience? And I get it. You're passionate, you care, and your heart genuinely wants to serve. Oh, I keep clicking off my thing here. But the truth behind it is the belief, if I narrow down, I'll miss out, is one of the main reasons you're not seeing the results you want. If we actually dive a little deeper, we might see that you haven't made a clear decision about who you really are called to serve, because deep down, you're still trying to be accepted by everyone. You built a brand to be accepted and not aligned. And now what? You're attracting people who kind of get it, kind of need you, kind of see your value, but they never fully commit, never fully transform, and never fully reflect the impact you're capable of making. All right. So let me ask this. I want you guys to picture this, right? In one bowl, you've got 15 different species, right? And that's our colorful fish bowl right there. All right. Even though we don't see 15 in there, but it's 15. Okay. And all different shapes, size, colors, and every single one of them, they require a different kind of care, a different food, a different environment to survive. But here's the catch. You only got one of everything, right? You only got one type of food, one type of bowl, all of that. Excuse me. Okay, so in the second bowl, you've got one type of fish, and we're going to call it a goldfish. They all eat the same food. They need the same care. They thrive under the same conditions. Now, be honest with me. Which bowl would you rather care for? Which one? Three-second. Okay. The three over, and you say the second. Okay, now watch this. If you chose the bowl with all the species, right? You're going to work harder. You're going to spend more. And you're still going to get the least impact. But if you choose the bowl with the goldfish, you'll have a bigger impact. Why? Because they're all going to get fat off that one food. The one with the 15 species, they're not going to be properly nourished, right? Because you only got one food that only fits one fish. Your care will go further. You'll need less time, less money, less energy, and actually keep something alive and thriving. Now, I want to note this. When people know the right kind of food that they need, right, is in a specific place or, coming from a specific person, what are they going to do? They're going to flock to that place or that person versus a place or person that they will have to work harder to receive what they need. That's what your brand is doing when you're trying to speak to everybody. You're feeding the wrong bowl. You're giving your time, your energy, and your voice to people who can't digest what you're trying to offer because they're not meant for you. And you're wondering why you feel unseen, you feel underpaid or overworked. You're not missing out by getting specific. You're finally getting in position. Okay? And the people you're attracting are simply reflecting what you're projecting. If you're playing it safe, playing it small, or trying to sound like everyone else, you will keep attracting people who are looking for more of the same. But when you speak from your truth, from your power, from alignment, you stop being one of many and start being the one they've been waiting for. So here's what I want you to sit with, right? And that's know the bowl that you're feeding. Okay? So today, Ma, you can go back. So today, I showed you, right, the clear step-by-step process purpose-driven entrepreneurs use to build a brand that finally reflects who they are now, even if they've taken a break or feel out of momentum. How to uncover what's actually keeping your brand stuck, overlooked, or confusing without constantly switching strategies. Aesthetics are trying to be everywhere at once. Why? I just need to post more, or I need to better content is not working, and how you can start connecting with your audience in a way that feels real, it feels easy and aligned, right? I also showed you how to confidently attract your true audience, even if you've been serving everyone out of fear or leaving someone behind or not feeling clear enough to narrow down. All right. And I showed you the bold shift our clients make to finally show up in their brand without overthinking, without hiding behind perfection or needing permission to be powerful. And how to do all of this, even if you secretly felt like you're behind, you're invisible, or unsure if you have what it takes anymore. So you can finally build a brand that reflects your purpose, honors your season, and sets you up to thrive. Okay. And so what you need to win, okay, a brand that's built from the inside out. Okay, your logo isn't your brand. Your colors and your fonts are not your voice. To truly win, your brand has to reflect your identity. It has to reflect clarity and calling, not just what looks good online. Okay. Number two, the courage you serve who the courage to serve, sorry, the courage to serve who you're called to. You're not called to everybody. And that's not a weakness, it's a superpower. The moment you get specific and unapologetic about who you serve, you start to see results, connection, and impact like never before. Okay. Three, alignment before strategy. Strategies work best when they're built on truth. If you're not aligned with who you're serving, what you're offering, or how you're showing up, no amount of content will convert. Okay, so alignment first, strategy second. All right, and then four, a brand that's built from the inside. That is backwards. Let me go to my screen. Oh no. Okay, I did that wrong. But number four is go back up. I apologize. I was supposed to go back. We already said accepting the logo. Okay, there it is. Which is your business. Stop treating your business like a ministry. Okay, so you have to have the right structure. You cannot go off of what you are used to. You have to begin to shift into this mindset and the idea that this is business. Okay, and so there is a complete difference of the two. All right, and so let me get back to where I was in my notes. All right. And so these points alone are enough to help you uncover why your brand hasn't been working the way it should, and start making the internal shifts that bring you back into alignment with the woman you've become. But now you're at a crossroads. You can walk away and keep tweaking, guessing, second guessing, or you can choose to step into the clarity, the alignment, and the voice you know your brand was meant to carry. And here's how I can help. I have set aside 48 hours, the next 48 hours, to speak with you personally about your brand. Now, this is a free brand review call where we'll talk one-on-one about how to apply everything that we've covered today directly to your business, your message, and the season of the life that you're in, starting now. And so during the call, right, we're going to create a step-by-step game plan tailored to help you reconnect with your vision and reignite your business. Look at why your audience is not converting. Develop 3 bold actions you can take immediately to start building momentum, and pinpoint the areas where structure and balance are missing, and map out how to gain control of your time and energy. Okay. And so again, this is a free one-on-one call. That is for me. Okay, let's do it. All right. And so, however, this isn't for everyone. When you say yes to the call, you're saying yes. I'm the woman who is ready to stop spinning, stop shrinking, stop settling for a brand that looks good but doesn't feel right. The woman who is willing to be honest, transparent, and take action on what's no longer working. Okay. You must be coachable, you must be decisive and ready to step into alignment. Not next year, not when it's perfect, but now. If you just want to collect information and stay comfortable where you are, this isn't a call for you. But if you are ready to reset, reconnect, and finally lead a brand that reflects the truth of who you are, then go ahead and book your free brand review call now, right? And so you're going to do that at www.alysiajoy.design/book now. Also, let me go ahead and put that in the chat so it's just easy and accessible. When you go to alysiajoy.design /book now, you're going to come to this page here. Okay. And then you're going to hit book my spot. Okay. And then before picking a time and day, you're going to make sure that you have the right time zone. All right. And then you go and pick your day. Okay. And your time based on your time zone. Right. And then you're going to hit submit and next. Okay. Then you're going to put your information in. Mhm. Then it's going to bring you to a questionnaire to fill out. And this is going to let me know everything about your business, everything we're going to talk about in the one-on-one call. We're going to really dive deep into your business to figure out, how to get you unstuck, how to get these clients coming in, and just how to just help you to increase all the way around. All right. And so once you fill that out, go ahead and hit send. All right. And so that's it. So I look forward to seeing you all on your one-on-one call. Remember, go ahead and book. Spots are limited, and I will see you soon.